Hello, good morning children. Today in this video I am going to explain class 7 history third chapter, the Delhi Sultan. So in the second chapter what you have learned, new kings and kingdoms. Now let's see the Delhi Sultans, how the Delhi rulers established their kingdom in our country. Let's see. In chapter 2 we saw that regions like the Kaveri Delta became the center of large kingdoms. So, in the chapter 2, you have learned that regional kingdoms, how the Pallavas, Chalukyas and Rashtrakutas, like those kings, how they established. And what about these Delhi Sultans, how these Muslim rulers, they came to India, you will learn in this chapter. Kaveri Delta became the center of large kingdoms. Did you notice that there was no mention of a kingdom with Delhi as its capital? So, in the second chapter, you learned that Kaveri is the center of different kingdoms. But there you haven't noticed that Delhi was by that time Delhi was a center, there was not even a single kingdom is there. Did you notice that there was no mention of a kingdom with Delhi as its capital? That was because Delhi became an important city only in the 12th century. So, when it became this Delhi famous in 12th century. In 12th century only it became famous. Okay, next. Take a look at table 1. Delhi first became the capital of a kingdom under the Tomara Rajputs, who were defeated in the middle of the 12th century by the Chahmanas of Ajmer. So, when Delhi became important, it became famous under the kings of Tomara Rajputs. Tomara Rajputs. Tomara Rajputs. When they got defeated by the Chahmanas. Okay, by the Chahmanas of Ajmer. So, from where the Chahmanas came? From Ajmer. Okay. It was under the Tomaras and Chauhans that Delhi became an important commercial center. So, here these two dynasties made a key role in bringing fame to Delhi. Who are they? Tomara Rajputs and Chahmanas. Next. Many rich Jaina merchants lived in the city and constructed several temples. So many Jaina merchants, they lived in this Delhi city and constructed so many buildings. Several temples. Coins minted here called Dehliwal. So, by this time, they minted coins. They minted some coins. They were called as Dehliwal. Okay. The coins minted by the time were called as Dehliwal. Had a wide circulation. The transformation of Delhi into a capital that controlled vast areas of the subcontinent started with the foundation of the Delhi Sultanate in the beginning of the 13th century. So, during the 13th century, this Delhi became started as capital that controlled vast areas of the subcontinent. Take a look at table 1 again and identify the 5 dynasties that together made the Delhi Sultanate. The Delhi Sultans built many cities in the area that we now know as Delhi. Look at map 1 and look at Delhi. Delhi-e-Kunha, Siri and Janpad. So, here map 1 I will show you. So, this is the map 1. Here they have asked you to locate Siri, Janapada and Delhi-e-Kunha. Okay. So, these are the 3 places. Okay. Siri, Delhi-e-Kunha and Janapada. So, these 3 together, they made this, together they formed as Delhi later words. Okay, now the rulers of Delhi. Before they have said now to see this table, see these dynasties. Who are they? Rajput dynasties. Next, early Turkish rulers. Okay, early Turkish rulers, and then Khalji dynasty, Tughlaq dynasty, Sayyid dynasty, and Lodi dynasty. These dynasties, they played a crucial role in making Delhi very famous. Okay, let's see. Finding out about the Delhi Sultans. How we are going to find out, know about these Delhi Sultans? Let's see. Although inscriptions, coins, and architecture provide a lot of information, especially valuable are histories. So, till now from 6th class, whatever you are learning, whatever history is found, it was from coins and the resources. What are inscriptions, manuscripts, and the sources? From the sources, archaeologists, they have come to an conclusion about the history. So, here also, these histories also, they are from inscriptions, coins, and architecture. Tawarik. Okay, valuable histories. Those names, Persian names were Tariq and Tawarik. Written in Persian, the language of administration under the Delhi Sultans. So, under the Delhi Sultans, what they have done, they have asked their writers, history writers, historians to write histories. What are they? Tariq or Tawarik. Nothing else. History. Tariq or Tawarik means histories. These two words are Persian words. Okay, Persian words. The authors of Tawarik were learned men, secretaries, administrators, poets, and courtiers who both recounted events and advised rulers on governance. So, who wrote these Tariq or Tawariks? They were the advisors of the kings. They were nothing else. Secretaries, administrators, poets, courtiers, whoever is going to advise the kings, they had witnessed the kingdom, the rule of the kingdoms. So, they have written these Tariq or Tawariks, emphasizing the importance of just rule. So, these are the people who wrote these Tawariks. Keep the following additional details in mind. The authors of Tawarik lived in cities. So, whoever is going to write, they used to live in cities. Because they are with the king, they are guiding the king in administration. Okay, next. And hardly ever in villages. There is a very few people from villages. Mainly, all of these historians were from cities only. They often wrote their histories for sultans in the hope of rich rewards. So, if they write very well about these Tawariks, the king's rule, then they have only one point. They could get rich rewards from kings. Okay, in the hope of getting rich rewards from the king. These authors advised rulers on the need to preserve an ideal social order based on birthright and gender distinctions. So, they have advised the king to preserve an ideal social order based on birthright and gender distinctions. Their ideas were not shared by everybody. So, these historians' ideas were not shared. Ideas were not shared by others. Ideas were not shared by others. So, what is it here? They have said us 3 points about these historians. What are they? Mainly, they lived in cities. Mostly, hardly few from villages. And they have wrote these histories in the hope of getting rich rewards from kings. And they advised the kings to preserve an ideal social order basing on birthright and social birthright and social distinctions, and they never shared their ideas by others. So these are the main points we have to keep about these historians. Here historians means none other than those the poets, the secretaries, the people who advise the ministers team who advised the kings in administration. Okay. In 1236, Sultan Iltutmish's daughter. So one important character is coming here. Let's see. Okay, when it's 1236, 1236, Sultan Iltutmish. Who is that person? Iltutmish. Iltutmish, he has a daughter named Razia. Okay, Razia. In 1236, Sultan Iltutmish's daughter Razia became Sultan. First time in the Indian history, she was the first woman ruler who became the Sultan of Delhi. Okay. The chronicler of the age, Minhas-e-Siraz, recognized that she was more able and qualified than all her brothers. Of course, the Sultan Iltutmish is having sons. Then also, he made her daughter Razia. His daughter Razia, Sultan of Delhi. Sultana, Razia Sultana. Okay. Of course, his sons were able, but he thought he has great confidence on his daughter, who is Razia Sultana. Minhas-e-Siraz recognized that she was more able and qualified than all her brothers. So, not only Sultan Iltutmish, but a chronicler, Minhas-e-Siraz. Okay. Here, Minhas-e-Siraz means he is a chronicler. That means the people who writes histories. Okay. He chronicler, he found that Razia was more capable and able to administer the kingdom than all her brothers. But he was not comfortable at having a queen as ruler. Of course, he recognized the talent of Razia Sultana, but there was no one to accept a woman as a ruler. Nor were the nobles happy at her attempts to rule independently. So, with her ideas, she was ruling the country, but those nobles, that means the people, the kings, the ministers, they were not happy with her administration because she is not taking advices from those ministers. As she was capable, she independently ruling. That's why they were unhappy with her administration. She was removed from the throne in 1240. So, she became in 1236 as queen and she was removed in 1240. She was removed in 1240. What Minhas-Siraz thought about Razia? So, here, what about Razia? What was the feelings of Minhas-e-Siraz about Razia? Here, they have given in a box. I will read out, see. Minhas-e-Siraz thought that the queen's rule went against the ideal social order created by God, in which women were supposed to be subordinate to men. So, according to him, women were subordinates. Women were subordinates to men. That means lower to men. That means by that time also men's domination was there. Okay. He therefore asked, in the register of God's creation, since her account did not fall under the column of men, how did she gain from all of her excellent qualities? So he asked one point, as she was not a man, then this ruling was the right of men. Okay, ruling was the birthright of men. So, as she was not a man, how she can rule a kingdom? This was he asked. all of her excellent qualities. Here he is agreeing that she is having excellent qualities. Though she is having qualities, but she is not a man. That's why he asked. Ruling is only the birthright of man. That's why she can't rule the kingdom. That is his opinion. On her inscriptions and coins, Razia mentioned that she was the daughter of Sultan Iltutmish. Okay, in coins, by the time the kings used to mint coins, on those coins, on inscriptions, she wrote that, mentioned that she was the daughter of Sultan Iltutmish. This was in contrast to the Queen Rudrama Devi of the Kakatiya dynasty of Warangal, part of modern Andhra Pradesh. So, by that time only in 1262, we have one more queen. Okay, Rani Rudrama Devi. I hope you have heard this. Okay, one movie also came now. Rani Rudrama Devi, Kakatiya dynasty ruler. Okay. Rudrama Devi changed her name on her inscriptions and pretended she was a man. Okay, but by the time when she ruled, she was acted as a man. Rudradeva, with the name of Rudradeva. Okay, as a man she pretended and ruled that Kakatiya dynasty. But here, Razia, as a woman only, she ruled Delhi Sultanate. Another queen, Didda. Okay, one more queen was there by the time. She is Didda. Okay, Didda. Ruled in Kashmir in 980. She ruled in Kashmir from 980 to 1003. So, she was the first ruler. Her title is interesting. It comes from Didi or elder sister. Here Didda means it came from Didi. Didi means elder sister. Didi means elder sister. Which kingdom she ruled? She ruled Kashmir. What is her time? From 980 to 1003. An obviously affectionate term given to a loved ruler by her subjects. As she ruled in a proper manner, in a very good manner, all the people used to call her Didi, Didda. Okay, that means she got the affection of the people. So, by that time, these were the three women who ruled our country. Who were the women rulers? First one is Didda, and then Razia, and in Andhra Pradesh, Rani Rudrama Devi. Okay. So, the remaining content I will explain in the next video, children. Hope you understood this. Thank you. Have a nice day.